Betty Wess, that's W-E-S-S, and I was born in London. On my birth certificate it says Mile End Hospital, and I am now 92 years old. Well, my father was a tailor, machinist, complete waste of a brain, and my mother was at home. She never went to work. She was always busy. She was a very unusual person, my mum. And my father used to come home lunchtime for his meal, and so she was busy, always busy in the morning, cooking. And then when he went off back to work, she and her neighbour used to go to the pictures, go to the library. Whatever was going, she belonged to a ladies' guild at the synagogue, so there was always something to do. And Dad had a very wonderful brain, but unfortunately, because there was 10 of them, he was actually taken in by Barclays to work in the bank, which was unusual. But because the money wasn't very much, he had to give the job up. So he had a very brilliant brain. In my mind, it was wasted because he had to go on the machine. And during the war, he worked in a factory, and he realised that he could do more, but there we are. And I had a sister, Rita. Rita was a very shy child, not like me. I was very running around, jumping. In fact, my father used to take me out for walks, and I think my mother was pleased because I think I might have been a bit hyper. And I went to school, went to Hebrew classes, went to synagogue, and our life was based in the East End. My mother used to take me to the library, but I was a very independent child. I didn't want her to do things for me. And they used to send me out to get my father's shoes and the cobblers. They used to put the £0.50 in my hand. Don't open your hand until you get there. I had to go and get the milk from the cow. I'm not quite sure what more I can tell you. It's just that I was very happy in the East End. I was a happy child, so I think I'd have been happy anywhere. Well, my husband was a Brady boy through and through. And I didn't meet him through Brady. I met him at the Histories dance hall, where many people got to know each other. And then we started going out with each other. And he took me to this place, Bloomsbury Hotel in Southampton Row. He said, there's a meeting there. So we trotted along there, had no idea what for. And it was the beginning of the Old Bradians Association. Sam Ansell had got these boys together after the war because he felt they needed each other as a group, and he wanted to start Brady Club up again, really. And that was my first introduction. And then I went to another meeting, went to the Brady show with him. Then we drifted away from it a little bit because we got married and I had children. And there was a meeting at the Brady Club, and he said, oh, come on, let's go. And that's when I got into the Brady Association because, as I've said so many times, the secretary didn't turn up and they wanted someone to do the minutes. So I said, well, I'll do it this time, but we'll see how it goes. And she never came back. So I was not lumbered really. I was given the job of being the secretary. And that's when Eddie Cantor was there, and Frank Barnard, and there was one or two of the other boys that I didn't know. And that's how I became the secretary, and I was there when Lawrence was a baby. He was in the early 60s, until 3 years ago. I went on the committee, and organised so many things, outings and all sorts of things I did. And so it became part of our lives, because as other people got children, got bar mitzvahed, we went to their dues, they came to ours, and it became part of our family, really. But it was Ben who was the Brady. He loved Brady. It did so much for him, because, as I said, he had no mother, very poor home life. And like many of the other people that went to the club, just like a second home to him. But apparently, on Friday nights, under Sam Ansell, they used to go to the club and have a little service, and he would give them a little talk about this and about that. And I presume they had something to eat, I don't know, but that was like a coming together, you know, something that, there was nothing like that at home, as far as I know. Because his mother was Orthodox-ish, but after that nothing happened. And the people there, his friends were his friends. I mean, I became friendly with them because of him. You know, because he already had this group of friends. They'd all been, he had been a minor Bevin boy, but his friends had all gone into the army or the navy or even the Air Force. And that's when one of their very good friends got killed at Hughes Mansions. When the bomb came down, he came home from Canada on leave. So you can see how attached they were to each other. At least I thought they were. They were all ex-army or whatever servicemen. They came back to help out as pioneers at Skeets. And we used to meet once a week at Hanbury Street on a Wednesday night, and we had talks, which quite often I arranged. It was just keeping people together. So there was a friendship there. And that's why the memorial service was something that he wouldn't have missed for anything. And I with Annette Collins, who was Joe Collins was our chairman for over 30 years. And she and a few of the other women, we used to go there early and lay up a table. And that happened in Brady while the club was still in Hanbury Street. And then it went over to Edgware, and we used to go to Edgware. So we followed it through, and we kept quite a big crowd right the way through. We ordered a coach so they could come up and be part of us. And then when that closed down, Joe Sinclair arranged for us to use Hendon Synagogue. And we had a coach there, used to bring the EastEnders up and we did that for quite a few years. And then people were dropping off. And as I said, I went to New Zealand for my granddaughter's wedding. And when I came back, they'd held more or less their last service, which was at Sandys Row. And we were debating how we could go ahead with it. And the younger group had decided that we weren't going to have the service anymore. And that really upset me, because my husband, to him, that was a very important evening. I can understand why, because we haven't got that many Brady people anymore. We were proud of being old Bradyans, because we'd been there since 1938. We'd been through all the war years, And that's why Sam Ansell wanted to keep the group going after the war. And this is what we did, and so we took on that mantle. Well, we originally started off running dinner dances to raise funds for Brady. And that was our whole thing, you know. Annette and I and Joe, we used to go around to all the big halls and listen to the bands, making sure we got good bands, good halls. And we used to all dress up for the occasion. The women always had their long dresses, and those that had fur coats wore the fur coats. I never wanted a fur coat, so I never wore one. And we used to go to places like the Empire Rooms, the London and Victoria Hall in Southampton Row. They were big prestigious things. And then we found that all the money we were making was going to the brochure, for the printers, for the brochures. And we thought, well, this is ridiculous. We're working really hard. I mean, one occasion we collected 600 tombola gifts. You know, we were really big time. So we used to raise that money and then we decided that we're not going to give the money to the printer. And so then we started organising slightly less posh do's. We started organising the food ourselves. We bought them in, and we ended up actually in Newbury Park in the synagogue hall there, but still giving money to Brady. And Lord and Lady Jana used to come to our functions. We always used to give her a bouquet of flowers, and so we kept together by having the dinner dance. I mean, we had 300 people one year at the Empire Rooms, and Joe used to come to my house, and we used to work out the table plan. And he was an artist, Joe. So we had all the names. I used to get everything done beforehand, and he had to write. In the middle of the night, we sometimes worked to do this thing. And they were real fun days. They were days when I think things were beginning to get a bit better money-wise. I think the country was getting on its feet. And so we sort of became part of that. And the men all wore their dinner suits. And it was lovely. It was lovely times, happy times. And then we used to have our car rallies, which Lou Kenley organised. And then we used to go down to the Woodlands in Kent. It used to be like a hippie place. But we had made our teas, and the kids had sports days, and it was fun. Everything was fun, and of course, there's no more fun.